इसलिए चलते हैं इस्लामाबाद, जहां पर पाक भारत मुश्तरका वज़ीर ख़ारिजा प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस जारी है।
That we are willing to forge ahead to develop a different future, which is people-centric, which is development-centric, which is centric to the citizens, to the common citizens of India and Pakistan, which is committed to creating stakeholders in the economic interests and the future of the two countries. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the vision which is behind Pakistan's government's deep abiding commitment to normalize trade ties and commit ourselves to implement the roadmap that we agreed to with our Indian friends. This roadmap has responsibilities for both sides. And allow me to say on Pakistan's behalf that Pakistan has every intention to keep its commitment. So by the end of this year, ladies and gentlemen, inshallah by December 2012, we will see a trade normalization process with India which treats India like any other country in the world. So whatever nomenclature you want to use it, we will treat traders from India in exactly the way we treat traders from anywhere else. At the same time, we have a joint commitment to take care of Pakistani concerns on the non-tariff barriers. And as the Commerce Secretaries will meet shortly in Islamabad, we will be, inshallah, signing a few agreements which have already been initialed. Whatever nomenclature you treat traders from India in exactly the way we treat traders from anywhere else. At the same time, we have a joint commitment to take care of Pakistani concerns on the non-tariff barriers. And as the Commerce Secretaries will meet shortly in Islamabad, we will be, inshallah, signing a few which have already been initialed, which will go a long way in ensuring that that happens. In the last year only, and actually momentarily, just in the last Foreign Minister Krishna, you have signed one important agreement and witnessed another one. The important agreement that he signed of the visa agreement together with the Interior Minister. And this step towards easing out the travel restrictions between the two people. I'm calling it the first step because I don't think, like many of you over here, that this is enough. But I am not going to estimate the of how big a first step this is in normalization of relations with our neighbor. You have also signing of cultural cooperation agreement, and many of you sitting over here also have. And this is again an effort towards moving towards stronger people-to-people contact. In the last year, we've had visits by the two commerce ministers, which were, I don't know, after decades. We've had the first ever visit of the Speaker of. We've had many visits of the parliamentarians. And this Foreign Minister, we discussed that the two countries, both the countries attach a great importance, because the philosophy behind Pakistan's view towards our relations, our developing relations with it, to create space within at our door. We have also been able to considerably ease both travel and trading restrictions, or ease travel and trade across on both sides of the LOC. Mr. Foreign Minister, I hope you would appreciate the gesture on the instructions of the President of Pakistan as he received you yesterday to announce the release of fishermen, all fishermen which are in Pakistan's custody. And this also shows once again our deep commitment to honoring all the agreements that we have signed with you, and to go beyond even honoring the agreements that we have signed, because these will be fishermen who have either served their full sentence or even those who have not served their full sentence. And this is certainly a good humanitarian gesture that the President of Pakistan makes on your arrival. So I'm sure this gesture will go a long way in getting you some prayers from the fishermen who go back to your country. So ladies and gentlemen, without being overly philosophical about it, let me just say that for 65 years or so, we have invested a great deal in this relationship, and we have invested a great deal at some level. And here the burden of responsibility lies on both sides in creating a hostile narrative against each other. We have filled our generations with it. Let me say that I am today confident that there is a deep commitment from the leadership at both sides, Mr. Foreign Minister, because it clearly always takes two to tango, and the two have tangoed. Today, there's a deep commitment from both political leaderships to ensure that the narrative that we build for our future generations is that of looking at this relationship with a different lens, with a regional lens, as citizens of this region, and to look forward to a peaceful coexistence between the two countries. Ladies and gentlemen, I also convey to Foreign Minister Krishna that we need to make the dialogue process effective and productive. Of course, that is our commitment from both sides to do so. And for that to really happen, we do need simultaneous progress on all tracks. Simultaneous progress on all tracks is important to ensure that we are able to consolidate on the success that we have been able to achieve so far. Simultaneous progress on all tracks is also important to ensure that we can sustain the momentum that we have been able to inculcate in this relationship. With political will, ladies and gentlemen, as we discussed during the meeting, what is doable or not doable is determined by the level of political will that is present at any stage. So with political will, all the issues, all the divergences, points of divergences, all the issues that have divided us so far, each one of them is doable. The issue of Jammu and Kashmir, the issue of Siachen that I have already talked about, and the issue of Sir Creek. And the aspirations of the Kashmiri people must be accommodated. And a quest for peaceful settlement requires that we be associated, that they be associated in one way or the other within the dialogue process. So as we build the momentum, as we build the trust, as we build the confidence in each other's intentions and each other's commitment to a different view, to a different mindset, to a different goal altogether, to a different vision, I am quite sure that we will be able to move forward, to march ahead in resolving all of these disputes as we develop the confidence. And why is it important to do so? Why is it important for us to continue to look at ways and means of finding solutions to these disputes, including the core issue of Jammu and Kashmir? It is important to do so because we must be able to disarm the naysayers. We must be able to disarm the people who will continue to want to divide us. So it is important that we are able to resolve these issues so we can move forward and we can continue to consolidate on the success that we have been able to achieve so far and start viewing each other and looking at each other and coexisting as part of the region. We also discussed, and let me appreciate Mr. Krishna's and of course my own, let me announce my own reiteration and appreciate Mr. Krishna's reiteration of our commitment to abide by and respect the Indus Water Treaty. We have invited the Indian side to look at improving possible implementation mechanisms of the Indus Water Treaty to make sure that we are moving with time. I think the Indus Water Treaty is something which has served the two countries well, and there is certainly room for improvement in the implementation mechanism. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say that none of this that I have, as I have enumerated the achievements in the last year only, would have been possible without the strong support, guidance, and the vision. Really, this is actually an implementation of the vision which has been provided by the political leadership on both sides. We all know the commitment of President Zardari. We all know that Pakistani leadership has never felt or fallen short of taking the lead in taking any initiative, in sending a good signal. We know the role that the previous Prime Minister, Mr. Yusuf Raza Gilani, also played in this relationship and his many meetings. The most memorable of them, the one in Thimphu, which restarted this process of which we are part of. And we also know the clarity of purpose with which the new Prime Minister conveyed to you his deep commitment towards working forward in this relationship. Also, the commitment and the vision that Prime Minister Manmohan Singh has showed to this relationship is truly remarkable. And let me appreciate the vision that he has shown, the commitment that he has shown. And Foreign Minister Krishna, of course, you have led the course and you have led the way in this. And I think in the many interactions, as I said before, we've had every time we interact with you, we only come out more confident that your commitment to this relationship and to normalization of this relationship is not questionable. Allow me to end by saying that we have another responsibility, which is beyond the responsibility of the bilateral ties or improvement of the bilateral ties between the two countries. And this responsibility is to the region that we are part of. And this responsibility is also to what we call SAARC. I have said this many times, and I have no qualms in saying this again. To some extent, we have held the differences between India and Pakistan have held the SAARC region hostage. And as we move on normalization of ties between the two countries, we would hope that the vision of prosperity, of peace within SAARC, the vision of improved trade within SAARC, the vision of improved people-to-people contact, the decrease in the visa restrictions, and all of these good things to the region and to the people of SAARC will come through. So ladies and gentlemen, with that, let me once again welcome our honored guest, Foreign Minister Krishna, who has been with us for the whole day. And I must once again thank you, Foreign Minister, for the strong commitment that you have shown to this relationship. Foreign Minister.
Thank you, Excellency Mrs. Hina Rabbani Kar, Foreign Minister of Pakistan, my friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. Let me profusely thank the Foreign Minister of Pakistan for inviting me and my delegation to Islamabad. When she came to Delhi last year, we took a decision that the defunct Joint Commission has to be revived in order to further the bilateral relationship between our two countries. And I must commend the efforts, the positive efforts that the Foreign Minister of Pakistan has made in contributing for the revival of the Joint Commission sittings. Yesterday, I arrived here, and then I called on the President and the Prime Minister. I had the privilege of calling on both of them, and I conveyed to them the best wishes of our leadership and our desire for a peaceful and cooperative relationship with Pakistan. Our discussions today, which were held under very cordial, frank, positive, and productive manner, it covered the entire spectrum of issues within the framework of the structured dialogue process. We drew inspiration from the commitment of the leadership of our two countries and the desire of our two peoples to resolve all issues peacefully and build a relationship of trust and mutually beneficial cooperation. We took stock of the current state of our bilateral relations. Given the complexities of the issues that we face, we are reasonably satisfied at the progress achieved in the last round of the resumed dialogue. We are also cognizant that there is a long way to go and the path ahead will not be easy, but we are committed to moving forward in order to write a new chapter of peace and cooperation in our relationship. We agreed that terrorism poses a continuing threat to peace and security and reaffirmed the strong commitment of the two countries to fight terrorism in an effective and comprehensive manner so as to eliminate the scourge in all its forms and manifestations. In this regard, Pakistan side reiterated its commitment to bring all perpetrators of the Mumbai terror attacks to justice expeditiously in accordance with due process of law. The positive assessment of the direction and progress in the dialogue process is manifest in some of the following elements. The bilateral joint commission held its plenary after a gap of 5 years. The 8 technical level working groups of the joint commission held fruitful discussions in exploring mutual cooperation areas including agriculture, health, education, environment, and science and technology. Bilateral visa agreement was signed by Interior Minister, His Excellency Mr. Rahman Malik, and me today. The Memorandum of Understanding on Cultural Cooperation between the Indian Council of Cultural Relations and Pakistan National Council of Art was also signed today. We decided to convene separate meetings of the expert groups on nuclear and conventional confidence building measures in New Delhi in the second half of December 2012. We reviewed the existing cross-LOC CVMs on travel and trade and endorsed the recommendations made by the Joint Working Group on cross-LOC CVMs in its meeting in Islamabad on July 19, 2012. We have expressed satisfaction at the progress registered towards the full normalization of bilateral trade and economic relations, and reiterated the need for both sides to strictly adhere to the roadmap drawn by the 2 commerce ministers in this regard. As people are at the heart of the relationship, we also discussed measures for promoting cooperation in various fields, including facilitating visits to religious shrines, media exchanges, holding of sports tournaments, and cessation of hostile propaganda against each other. On the way forward, we agreed to the launch of the next round of secretary-level dialogue on all 8 segments. Schedule for these meetings will be worked out through diplomatic channels. We further agreed that all these meetings will be held prior to our next review meeting in New Delhi in 2013. I look forward to receiving the Foreign Minister of Pakistan in New Delhi next year. Let me conclude by expressing my profound thanks to the President of Pakistan and also His Excellency Rahman Malik and the Foreign Minister of Pakistan for the wonderful gesture of releasing all the Indian fishermen in Pakistan custody, and I hope their boats and trawlers also will be released simultaneously. Once again, Your Excellency, I thank you immensely for the courtesies that were extended to me and my delegation. And I see that I was here 2 years back, and I see the positive change in the atmosphere, and I would like to compliment the present leadership of Pakistan and the role played by the Foreign Minister of Pakistan in bringing about that changed atmosphere in Pakistan, and which augurs well for the relationship between our two countries. Let us not look back, as you have very rightly said. Let us not be held hostage to whatever has happened earlier. I think we will have to keep our sights to the future. Let us look to the future. Let us walk the talk together. Let us see that the new chapter which I spoke about is going to be mutually beneficial to both of us. And to this, I dedicate myself and India, and I am sure that it will be helpful to both of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Foreign Minister, for your statements. As announced earlier, because of shortage of time, the Honorable Foreign Minister would not be able to take more than 2 questions from each side, of course. So let me invite our Indian friends first. Ji.
I'm Priyanka Tikku from Press Trust of India, and my question is to both the ministers. With the visa agreement in place and a lot of positive atmospherics, do you feel this has prepared the ground for the visit of Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, or the lack of action in 2611 is still going to be a stumbling block? Thank you.
What was the question?
It was that with the visa agreement already in place and positive atmospherics between two countries, do you think this has created a ground for the visit of Prime Minister Manmohan Singh to Pakistan, or the lack of action in 2611 is still going to be a stumbling block?
Well, Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh has never put any conditions for his visit to Pakistan. I think the visit will take at an appropriate time, when the atmosphere is ripe, when he feels that something worthwhile will come out of his visit to Pakistan. And we all feel that the Prime Minister of India, I think, has to work out depending upon his schedule and his visit to Pakistan. And when I go back, I certainly will provide my own assessment of the situation. Depending upon that, the Prime Minister will decide about his visit to Pakistan.
So I think Foreign Minister Krishna has spoken on it, and I'm not required, but I can just tell you from my interactions with him that I can assure you his assessment will be a positive assessment.
Am I audible now? Yeah. Primarily the question to Excellency, the Indian Foreign Minister. Noting the difference between what Foreign Minister Khar said and your somewhat structured, prepared text, hard-nosed prose, I would say that I'm not one of the naysayers, but I'm a lightly armed skeptic about this. The sense here is that while there is a movement on various issues, there is now a hardline position on the Indian side as far as the disputes are concerned. Whether this be Kashmir, where I don't see why there should be a reinvention of the wheel. On Siachen, India has taken a much hardline position in terms of delineating a line that extends from NJ 984 onwards to Indira Col. Even on Sar Creek, there hasn't been any positive development despite the surveys. And the sense is that this is because India is now taking this argument that unless there is a movement on the Mumbai issue, there will be no movement as far as the core disputes are concerned. Is this sense correct?
Well, I never said that the decision on some of the issues which you mentioned is going.
Committee of parliamentarians who's been asked to go and visit each one of these areas. So in each country, especially in South Asia, there are societal norms that we have to break away from. As we deal with these, it makes us a stronger society, it makes us a stronger democracy. And I know that in your country also, you have many such incidents which take place. And we, hear and read about some treatment of Muslims in some parts of India. But I think India and Pakistan will both strengthen in dealing with them by showing the clear intention to move forward in allowing us to coexist in a society where creed, color, caste, or religion ceases to be of significance.
This is for Minister Krishna.
Yeah.
Pakistan's foreign minister has been saying for the last 2 days that there should be no conditions attached to diplomacy. What you just said about Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was something like, quote, something worthwhile has to happen before he comes to Pakistan. In Pakistan, if you see the past so many years, they have not even at times needed an invitation. There's been cricket diplomacy, there's been lunch diplomacy. In fact, Samjhauta, when that happened, in which of course your excellent investigations pinpointed some of your former army people involved in that, even that did not stop the Pakistani leadership to take trips to India. I mean, they go for a pilgrimage, but they will stop by and have lunch with your Prime Minister. Pakistan does not put any conditions and does not hesitate. So why, in your words, the Prime Minister has put a condition to something worthwhile is a condition. I mean, you want something worthwhile in Pakistan. So take the MFN status that Pakistan has given to you. That's certainly very, very worthwhile. Thank you.
Well, the Prime Minister is not shying away from visiting Pakistan. At every conceivable opportunity that comes his way, he has been dealing with the President or the Prime Minister or other high dignitaries from Pakistan. And Dr. Manmohan Singh is the one who has been the mover of this relationship to the next level. Hence, I did not by any means intend to convey that Dr. Manmohan Singh will visit Pakistan only if something worthwhile happens here. I said the right atmosphere will have to be created, and I just did mention, and then I have conveyed it to the Foreign Minister of Pakistan also, that when I go back I will report to Dr. Manmohan Singh, the Prime Minister of India, my assessment of the situation, and I am sure that the visit, I am hopeful that the visit could possibly take place. I will not be able to spell out when exactly the visit will take place. Well, the Prime Minister's schedule is decided months ahead of time, if you know how the scheduling of the Prime Minister's visits are.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Can I just respond? I think we are very happy to have Mr. Krishna here. I think we have been able to achieve a great deal of progress with that. And I think we should be happy that this process went off well. And as I acknowledge Mr. Krishna's commitment, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's commitment, all of that is important. We must be able to build on the positive right now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
पाक भारत वज़ीर ख़ारिजा मुज़ाकरात को मुश्तरका एलामिया जारी कर दिया गया है। साथ ताल्लुकात मामूल पर लाने में अहम पेशरफ्त हुई है, ये कहना है वज़ीर ख़ारिजा हिना रब्बानी खर का। इसके साथ साथ उन्होंने कहा कि जो सकाफती ताउन है वो भी जारी रखने पर इत्तफाक हुआ है, और उनका कहना था कि भारत के साथ बेहतर ताल्लुकात के ख़्वाह हैं, हमेशा से रहे हैं, और मुज़ाकरात का सिलसिला यूं ही आगे बढ़ता रहेगा। इसके साथ साथ उन्होंने कहा कि उन शोबों से इस्तिफादा करेंगे जिनसे ताल्लुकात मजीद बेहतर हों, और एक अहम ऐलान किया गया वज़ीर ख़ारिजा हिना रब्बानी खर की जानिब से। उन्होंने कहा कि पाकिस्तान की तहवील में तमाम भारतीय माहीगीरों को रिहा करने का हुक्म भी जारी किया है। सदर पाकिस्तान आसिफ अली जरदारी ने यह फैसला कर लिया गया है कि पाकिस्तान की तहवील में तमाम भारतीय माहीगीरों को रिहा कर दिया जाएगा। और इसके साथ साथ वजीर खारिजा हिना रब्बानी खर का कहना था कि तजारत को फरोग देना चाहते हैं और भारतीय माहीगीरों की रिहाई पर शुक्रिया अदा किया। भारतीय वजीर खारिजा एस एम कृष्णा ने सदर पाकिस्तान का।